What if I told you that drinking contaminated water could kill you faster than not having any water at all? As good prepared citizens, we know that the most crucial aspect to our survival is having a good, clean source of drinking water. But one sip of contaminated water with E. coli or Giardia or the norovirus is going to put us on our ass. We are going to be so insanely sick, and it's going to dehydrate us way faster than not drinking any water. There are all kinds of commercially available water purification methods out there, but what if we lose those? What if we break them or somebody steals them? Well, then what are we going to do? Dealing with contaminated water is going to be one of the most difficult things that we are ever going to have to do in an actual real-world situation. And I'm just here to tell you that I have personally had Giardia, and it was awful. It was probably one of the worst feelings I've ever had. And I need to let you guys know that I don't ever want to experience that, well, ever again. In today's video, we're going to be going over some really unconventional water purification methods, some of which I've had success with and some I haven't, but I feel it's important for us to know that we can purify water without those big fancy gadgets. Now let's go ahead and get into the first method, which I've actually had some good luck with. My name's Will, and to me, preparedness isn't only about surviving the end of the world, it's about who we are and what we're made of. I prepare to live, and I live to prepare. I am a prepared citizen. Hey everybody, if you're enjoying these kind of videos, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and now there's this new hype button, which is apparently awesome for my channel, so if you enjoy it, go ahead and click that hype button, and for the love of God, share this with your prepper friends on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. I have to say that this video is for educational purposes only. The methods that we are showing are last resort survival techniques and are not guaranteed to make water safe. Always use tested, commercially available purification systems whenever possible. How you guys choose to use this information is completely up to you. The first method we're going to talk about is the pine branch xylem filter. This is a fun one. I quite enjoy it. The first thing that we need to do for this method is to find a pine branch. And what I did the other day was I cut this little branch off, and you need to strip the bark off of the stick first. That's the first thing that you need to do. The second thing you need to do is get yourself some water, and we're just using bottled water for demonstration purposes. Now, the water that you're going to pour into this filtration system needs to be as clean as possible. So you're going to want to run that through some type of a filter, even if that's an old t-shirt or a hoodie or even a Shima. Just get the water as clear as possible. You want to try and remove all the sediment. So once you've cut your little branch, you want it to be between 2 and 4 inches long. And yes, gentlemen, this is only an inch long. Once you do that, strip the bark off. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to place it into a plastic tube like this. Now, I got this tube for a completely unrelated project that we're doing at home, but I got this at Tractor Supply. It was $20 for, I think, 20 or 25 feet. It was super cheap. What you can do if the stick that you're placing into the tube isn't a tight fit is you can actually take a zip tie and you can wrap it around at the bottom, and that's going to kind of sort of act like a clamp. Now, this end is going to go into your vessel, into your container, so that it drips into it. On the top, if you wanted to, you could rig it up like this, cut the top off so you could pour your water in. But we're just going to go ahead and pour some water into the tube so you can kind of see how this works. Like that. This is not a quick method of water purification. Now, I've crunched the numbers on this already, and to do 17 ounces of water, this method is going to take you approximately 12 hours. So you want to be able to sit around and have some time for this method to actually work. Also, this method is not fully effective against certain types of pathogens. It's going to reduce bacteria like E. coli and Giardia. However, it is not 100% proven reliable against Cryptosporidium. This does not block any type of viruses like the norovirus. It will not remove any type of chemicals or heavy metals, or in our type of situation, fuel contamination. You have to use fresh wood. Dried or cracked wood, it's not going to cut the mustard. It has to be fresh. If your water is dirty, what's going to happen is it's going to clog up all of the pores that are inside this little pine branch, and it's not going to effectively allow the water to pass through. We're just going to leave this device kind of set up, and we'll come back at the end, I'll let you know how long it's been to see if the bottom of this stick is actually wet. Method number 2, and I'm going to warn you guys ahead of time, if you don't do this properly, there's a severe chance that you will die. Be very careful if you're going to attempt this method. This method is the household bleach disinfection method. The most important thing that you use is regular, unscented, just regular old household bleach. That bleach needs to have between 6 and 8% sodium. This word right here, I don't know what it is, but that's the word it needs to be, and that must be the active ingredient. Do not use the so-called splashless bleach, and scented bleach is also a no-go. Color-safe bleach, all of those things are toxic and will kill you. For most of these techniques in this video, we're going to be talking about a 16.9 or 17 ounce bottle of water. And this is most important because these calculations are tricky. And again, I'm going to put something down in the description for better calculations for this. But for a 17 ounce bottle of water like this, you want one single drop of bleach. You place this inside. I will note that if the water is cloudy or kind of gross, you might want to put 2 drops in. It might make you sick, it might not, but it's not going to kill you. You want to put that bleach in here and then shake it up or stir it up, whatever you want to do, and you want to let that sit for at least a minimum of 30 minutes. A little bit longer isn't going to hurt. The water, when you open this cap, it should have a faint chlorine smell. If it doesn't, repeat that dose and wait another 15 minutes. So there are some risks and limitations to this method, and overdosing is a real possibility here. This method, if done improperly, can kill you, so please be very careful. This is not a method that we want to do for long-term use. It's safe for emergencies, but not a daily solution for water purification. And I know you guys are going to fight me on this in the comments, but bleach loses its potency over time. After about 6 months in the heat or bright light, now, if you put it in your basement in a dark, cool place, you might be able to get a year or so out of it, but just be very careful. The bleach method does not remove any type of chemical contaminations. It will kill the microbes, but it won't actually, remove the fuel or pesticides. If there's antifreeze in there, heavy metals, it's not going to do it. And even at safe levels, it's not going to taste good. It's going to taste like you're drinking public pool water, and that's not something that I want to think about. So if you're going to do this method, please be very careful with it. Don't just nilly-willy try this. This is for emergency situations only. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about is something you can actually try at home. Method number 3, and I like this one. This is a fun one. It's SODIS, S-O-D-I-S. And this is a solar water disinfection method. And it's the same thing. We want to start with the cleanest water that we possibly can. If it's muddy or cloudy, the UV light is not going to be able to penetrate through and disinfect the water. The next thing that we need to have is a PET plastic bottle. And there's different ways that you can look that up. On the back of some of these, you can see right here, there's a little tiny recycling sign. That means it's a PET, or if it has a number 1 on it, that also means that it's a PET or PETE. This is going on. Most disposable water bottles, Poland Spring, Dasani, Aquafina, they are all PET bottles, even though it might not be labeled on the bottle. Do not, under any circumstances, use milk jugs, detergent bottles, any type of colored plastic whatsoever. They will block the UV light, and this method won't work. Now, the first thing that we want to do is we want to fill this bottle about 3/4 to almost full all the way up. We're going to snap that cap on really tight. We don't want this stuff leaking out. And then all we're going to do is just take the bottle of water and place it down in the direct sunlight. We want to follow the sun's path through the sky, so we may have to turn the bottle or move it from place to place. We just want that sunlight to penetrate through that bottle. We want to make sure that we're putting it there during peak sun hours, so that would be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's most crucial. To speed this process up a little bit, what we can do is we can take some aluminum foil or a mirror and place it behind that bottle, and that's going to reflect the solar rays off of that material and back up through the water. We want to leave these bottles out in this bright sunlight for a minimum of 6 hours. And back to your point on the cloudy days, 2 days. That's how long we want to leave this out in the sun, is 2 days if it's cloudy. And I don't mean straight clouds for 2 days. A little bit of sun, a little bit of clouds. Just remember that, 2 days. Once that time has passed, We can drink directly from this bottle, or we can pour it into another, clean container like one of these jugs over here. And yes, there are some limits and risks to this method, and I'm going to read them to you right off this sheet of paper I made. This is not going to remove any type of chemicals or poisons. Gasoline, pesticides, antifreeze, industrial runoff, it's all going to stay in that water. It is not effective on heavy metals, heavy iron metals, or salt water. This does not work with salt water. Some other things like lead and arsenic, it's not going to remove those either. It's a slow process. 6 hours for 17 ounces, that's going to take a while. But remember, we could lay a bunch of bottles out on the ground if we had to. The bottle condition matters most. If it's scratched or hazy, if they're really old bottles or super dirty, they need to be clear and intact bottles with caps in order for this to work. Now we're going to move on to method 3, and I like this one because it's explosive. Now this is method number 4, and it is boiling with hot rocks. This is a dangerous one, and I really wanted to show you guys how to do this, but I was told I was not allowed to dig a big fire pit and get a fire going at 10 o'clock in the morning. I feel that I need to say this, but we're putting hot rocks into a container, so use a container that can handle a boiling hot rock. A carved out wooden bowl, a clay pot, even a green log that hasn't been rotten all the way through. You can use all of these methods, or just a simple regular old pot that you have in your house. The next thing you want to do is fill that about halfway to 3/4 up with water, and you want to heat your rocks up in the coals. Don't do it over a roaring fire if possible. Do it in the coals. That's the best way to heat them evenly. And you're going to place those rocks into the water until it reaches boiling point. So you place one rock in, take that rock out, put the next rock in. You're going to want to cycle rocks throughout the time that you're doing this. Now, a 17-ounce portion of water is going to take several, 2, 3, maybe even 4 cycles of hot rocks to reach boiling point. Once it reaches that boiling point, we want to try and maintain it there. So take that last rock out and then put another hot rock in and kind of let it rolling boil for just a minute or two if you can. Now, obviously, like all the other methods, there are some risks and limitations. And the first would be the explosion. We do not want to have rocks exploding in our faces. It's shrapnel. You're going to get severely injured, so please be very careful. This also does not remove chemicals or heavy metals. It's only going to kill the pathogens, E. coli, Cryptosporidium, Giardia, and I believe the norovirus. And of course, there's the fuel consumption. This takes a lot of firewood and a lot of rocks, so be prepared to put some work into boiling this water. If you're going to try this one at home, I got to ask you to please be very careful when you do it. Hi, Holly had a great idea. She's like, why don't you leave that tube and the wood out on the fireplace for a little while and see what happens. So I'm going to show you. Here we go. So it is, in fact, dripping. There it is. Now, what's in the tube is nothing. There's really nothing in there. And you can see it's because the sun is really hitting this, and all the water is evaporating that's dripping out of the little guy there. Tastes like pine. Yeah, not working out so good. The next method is the BBC, the BBSP, the Black Bottle Solar Purification. Say that 5 times fast. And we have one right here. Now, before we started filming this video, my wife and I actually took this bottle, measured the temperature inside, and then I spray painted it with a flat black paint. I've never tried this method before, so this is going to be as interesting for me as it is for you. You want to start with a clear PET bottle. You want to fill it about 3/4 of the way full and then spray paint it matte black. You could use black tape, or you could even put it into a black plastic bag. You want to lay this bottle flat on its side, as you saw over there, in direct sunlight, which we have. Again, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. are the optimal times for this test. On a strong day, strong Sunday like today, a 17-ounce bottle filled with water in about 2 to 3 hours should reach a temperature of about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm skeptical because I just picked this bottle up and I don't think it's that hot. When it does reach that temperature, we want to go ahead and let that sit for about 30 minutes and try and hold that temperature. So let's go ahead and see what the temperature actually is. It's been sitting in the sun for approximately an hour to an hour and a half. And what you're seeing right now is the temperature before we started this process. We're going to open up the cap. Ooh, it made a little psh. And let's go ahead and take a look and see what the temperature is inside. Oh, look at that. It's 85 degrees. 86. Ladies and gentlemen, I actually think that this might actually work. Let me taste it and see if it tastes warm. That tastes like, you know, a bottle of water that's been left in your basement. Fascinating. I didn't think that was actually going to work. Now, there are some risks and limitations to this as well. Weak sun, if it's winter and freezing cold outside, overcast skies, it might not heat the water enough to be safe. So in your go bag, it might be a good idea to put some kind of a thermometer in there so that you can verify that your waters are at certain temperatures. This only works well with these small 17-ounce bottles. The larger bottles are going to take way longer, and we don't have time to deal with that. Again, it's going to kill all the pathogens that are inside the water, but it's not going to remove any of those chemicals like we've talked about. This is also not going to give us a rolling boil. Rolling boil means we kill everything. This, it doesn't provide the same amount of certainty as it would to have a rolling boil, but I would still probably drink this method, and I didn't think this was going to work. I think that maybe you guys should try this out. Take a bottle, paint it black, leave it out in the sun, and down in the comments, let me know how long it took you to reach that 150 degrees. I still can't believe that that black bottle method worked as well as it did. That's freaking amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button, like, and comment down below what's your favorite non-conventional method for water purification. If you can, please hit that hype button. And I can't do these types of videos without your support. So if you can, down in the description, there is a link to the Patreon account. Please go over and check it out. Join as a free member because we do Free Member Friday posts all the time. I say it all the time in my videos, and it's now become famous. The best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is today. I'm Will. I'm the Prepared Citizen. Thank you so much for watching. That's all I got for you. Okay, I got one more thing for you, and this is an important one. Stay hydrated, clearly, but always lift with your knees, never with your back.